Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. It started off with the Panati and Papi jibes, but now the opposition has taken it one notch too far. They have extended the same logic to Prime Minister Modi's maiden sortie on the indigenously developed light combat aircraft, the Tejas, which happened on Friday. TMC Member of Parliament, no less, Shantanu Sen, has said that just like we lost the World Cup final because of the Panati Prime Minister, now our Tejas pilots will also meet the same fate. Now, this is not just an absurd proposition, but it is a wholly dangerous idea. How can a Member of Parliament even will to bring in our soldiers just to score political points? You can have whatever differences you want to with the ruling party, the dispensation, the Prime Minister, that's fine. But there should be certain red lines in our political discourse, and one of that should be that our armed forces are not brought in to settle needless political scores. Has the opposition, with this Tejas jibe, gone one notch too far? That's what we'll be asking, but first, the story so far.
The job has been done by Narendra Modi. I am afraid that in no time this particular craft gets crashed.
Its MP Shantanu Sen says that the plane in which Prime Minister Modi took a ride, went into the skies, the Tejas aircraft, which is a symbol of our pride, a symbol of our Atmanirbhar Bharat, that Tejas plane should also start crashing. This is the kind of hatred they have for Prime Minister Modi.
Prime Minister that has the blessings of 140 crore Indians need not worry about certain Congress stooges or TMC stooges statements regarding the Prime Minister of the country. It shows the hatred that they have not just for the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, but they hate the welfare of Bharat as well.
So is this a new low by the opposition? Let's bring you up to speed with the back and forth that's been going on since the Prime Minister rode that sortie on the indigenously developed light combat aircraft, the Tejas. The opposition called Mr. Modi the master of Chunavi photo ops. Their contention being that in election season, when campaign is going on, the Prime Minister choosing to make that photo op. The Tejas might crash is what the opposition said, but the BJP has hit back saying this is a exposure of the Congress's mentality, how it is ideologically and mentally bankrupt. Also, they went on to say that the Tejas might crash after Prime Minister Modi's sortie. This is what the TMC Member of Parliament, Mr. Shantanu Sen, said. The BJP has hit back at that, saying that the opposition wants casualties and they are willing to go to the extent of willing for fatalities within our armed forces, within our Indian Air Force, just because of their hatred for the Prime Minister. Which other Panati does all this for the cameras is the question that the opposition asked. Meanwhile, the BJP has hit back by saying that the opposition has always been doubting whether it's the surgical strikes, they call the Pulwama terror attack a fake. So when it comes to questions of national security, the BJP is saying that the opposition plays politics. Opposition saying that Rajiv Gandhi was a real pilot, Modi is just a fake pilot. Meanwhile, the BJP hit back saying that the Prime Minister has sent a message worldwide that the indigenously developed, made in India light combat aircraft 4.5 generation Tejas is ready for the world. But let me now, move on to why this is such a jinxed politics, almost a cynical politics by the opposition, and that is that attacking Mr. Modi in the past has cost the opposition elections. We've seen that with the Chaiwala comment, the Neech Admi comment. Now here's a sort of rolling list of what opposition leaders have said in this election campaign, personally attacking the Prime Minister. Sanjay Raut of the Shiv Sena saying he lost the match, the India-Australia final of the World Cup, it happened at the Narendra Modi Stadium. That's why we lost. Also, Rahul Gandhi, while in a campaign in Telangana last week, referred to this Twitter trend that sort of caught on fire right after the finals. Rahul Gandhi referred to the Prime Minister as a panoti who made India lose the final of the World Cup. Also, Rahul Gandhi went on to say in that same rally that PM stands for Panoti Modi. Mamata Banerjee followed that up by saying that it was Papis. Papis in a reference to Prime Minister Modi watching the India-Australia World Cup final. It's the Papi that made India lose is what Mamata Banerjee has said. Now, let's see what the BJP has said to this. They've taken strong exception to the panoti politics of the opposition. BJP Shehzad Poonawalla has put out this tweet, and that's part of our Motorola India's best 5G smartphone brands tweet of the day.
Hello, Moto.
This is what Shehzad Poonawalla has tweeted. TMC MP Shantanu Sen hits a new low. Once IAF fighter jet Tejas to crash because Prime Minister Modi sat in it. After demanding proof from the Sena, now these parties want our Sena, Vayu Sena to have casualties and losses in their hatred for the Prime Minister. TMC doubted the surgical strike, the Balakot strike. They called the Pulwama terror attack a fake earlier. Is this statement endorsed by Mamata Didi, or will she sack Shantanu Sen? That's the tweet from Shehzad Poonawalla. Let's get to our big debate tonight. The Tejas crash is the taunt by the opposition, even by the lowly discourse that we've seen in this election season, a fresh new low.
Hello, Moto.
All right, on the talking point this evening, Dr. Ajay Alok is national spokesperson of the BJP, Mohan Kumar Mangalam, spokesperson of the Congress Party, Riju Datta, spokesperson of the TMC, and Abhijit Majumdar is consulting editor with the News18 network. Let me start with you, Riju Datta, because this is something that no less than a member of parliament of your party said, that now that Mr. Modi has gone on the Tejas, we can expect the Tejas also to crash anytime soon. I mean, what sort of statement is this? To actually will the crash of a made in India fighter jet, to actually will the death of our fighter pilots. I mean, that's not politics. That needs to be called out. I'm sorry. There are certain things that you don't bring into the political discourse, as bad as it has been in this election season.
Thank you, Zaka. To answer your question, I have got 2 points to make. Point number one, first of all, this statement that the Honorable MP Dr. Shantanu Sen made is a very nonsensical statement, and I, as the spokesperson of the party, is saying to all national viewers that the party do not endorse this statement, does not condone this statement, and does not stand by this statement. We are politically poles apart from BJP and ideologically as well as politically, but we do not wish ill of Mr. Narendra Modi, neither we wish ill of our armed forces or for the Tejas aircraft, which is a very expensive piece of engineering by our own nation. We are a party
So,
of
Riju,
patriots,
if indeed that is the position of your party, then be seen to be taking action. Demonstrate that position by taking action against this MP of your party by suspending him or saying that, we will not allow him to articulate the position of the party. Some visible action needs to be taken against this member of parliament if the people who are watching, the public who is watching, needs to be convinced that your party is sincere in what you're saying. You are sincere in what you're saying just now.
Zaka, what you said, I completely agree with you. The party is looking after this, and the High Command will take a call on this. However, we will not take a call based on what a BJP spokesperson has tweeted or what BJP is saying. We will take the call internally and we will deal with it. First of all, I have made my party stand very clear. Now, there is a second aspect to this. The second aspect to this is that when Pradhan Mantri Modi did this sortie on the Tejas aircraft, no harm in it, before people have done it, even President Patil has also done it. But the timing of it was during when 5 of our brave armed forces, our brave men have been martyred in Rajouri. There are 5 elections going in very crucial states, out of which, if I know politics, 4 of them BJP are losing. So this is nothing but a photo op to distract. See, what are we discussing now? So it is completely to distract the entire people of this nation, the entire media houses, the national media houses, from the actual issues of roti, kapda, makan and naukri.
No. So that is happening in the campaign. Day in and day out, every party is raising that. BJP is responding to that. How is that issue being diverted at all? It's all there in the public domain. Nobody is stopping any opposition politician from taking those issues in the campaign, and they are taking those issues in the campaign. But anyway, let me ask Ajay Alok 1 second. I want to go to the first part of what Riju Datta said, that this is not the TMC's official position. They are even contemplating some kind of action against Dr. Shantanu Sen. Would that be the end of this chapter, Dr. Ajay Alok? Because how will you respond if the TMC is going to take action, the TMC is saying this is not our position, he had no business to be saying this, then what is your response to that?
He is doing just sheer hypocrisy. TMC is doing just sheer hypocrisy. What action they are going to take against Mamata Banerjee when she said कि स्टेडियम में भारत मैच इसलिए हार गया क्योंकि पापी लोग मैच देखने आया था. Whom she was referring to? पापी आया था, पनौती आया था, इसलिए भारत मैच हार गया. Will they take action against Mamata Banerjee? Is Riju Datta has guts to say that yes, we are going to act against Mamata Banerjee? So this is just sheer hypocrisy on your show, wasting your channel's time, nothing else. Let me tell you one thing very clearly. We are in a habit of listening such comments from our adversaries, and especially Modi ji is in a habit of listening to these comments. Since 2002 he became Chief Minister. I have just one line to say to all these things. हताश और निराश करके मानेंगे ये अपना विनाश. And today I have requested Mansukh Mandwadia ji to increase the numbers of mental asylum in this country, because come after May 2024, we are going to have the patients are going to increase in many folds after the results are declared in May. So this country needs more mental asylum. Because this kind of a language shows that you have become bankrupt, you don't have any political policy left to fight BJP or Modi ji. You are just so much anxious and so much worried and so much jealous about his image that every time it gives you a boost in your stomach. So that's not the BJP's problem. As far as Modi ji taking timing, what's there in the timing? If the Prime Minister of the country is showcasing its self-made aircraft to the world, this photo op was not meant for you or not meant for the villages. This photo op was meant for the world. Where Tejas is becoming a big market, it has got orders up to 80,000 crores. First time we are exporting defense. But you people don't think beyond a vision. Such a binary prism you have, and that too from a prism of Modi hatred, you can't see many more things. So kudos to you. Okay. Keep on doing like this. Keep on repeating like this statement.
So let me ask Mohan Kumar Mangalam. Mr. Modi is not the first politician to be flying a fighter jet. We've had Abdul Kalam, when he was president, fly a fighter jet. We've had Pratibha Patil. I believe she still holds the record for being the oldest woman to fly a fighter jet. We've had, even in this government, Nirmala Sitharaman has flown a fighter jet. So the point is that, when Mr. Modi does it, somehow it becomes political, Panati jive, Papi jive, and then Tejas will crash jive. But when the others do it, somehow you've never heard any of this. Why is that? So is the hatred for Mr. Modi far bigger than the efficacy of the aircraft, or what the Prime Minister flying this indigenously made in India aircraft means for making India for defense?
The narrative that the BJP is living on. Please don't feed into Mr. Modi's favorite narrative of victimhood. Nobody hates Mr. Modi. This is merely a question of timing. Neither Pratibha Patil ji or Abdul Kalam ji in the day were presidents when they flew that aircraft, when they rode that aircraft rather, and they were not campaigning for any election. You will see time and again Mr. Modi and his ministers, whether it be Mr. Amit Shah, have broken the election commission norms. I would say norms because they're not hard and fast rules, there are loopholes in them, where you're not supposed to campaign or talk or send any message to the electorate after the last day of campaign. The
No,
reason
please,
Mr. Modi chose.
Mohan,
Let me
please
finish.
explain to me. No, please
I'm
explain
trying
to
to
me.
explain to you if you let me finish, Doctor.
What has he violated? How is this campaigning? Please explain
I
that.
said norms. Yes, let me explain to you. Last time, on the time when there was a silent period after the last day of campaign in Karnataka, Mr. Modi decided to go to Rajasthan and make a speech about what's happening in Karnataka. This time, he's gone to Karnataka and basically ridden a jet during the time that Rajasthan is going to polls. Rajasthan is a state that has sent about a lakh plus people to the three armed forces. He's clearly sending a signal to the electorate at the same time. There is no coincidence in the timing here. The Tejas has been around for ages. The first time the Tejas was introduced in 2001, and we've been building on that Tejas platform, which was built by the ADA, the HAL, the NAL, about 4 or 5 agencies together, designed by the DRDO over the last several decades. This didn't pop up in a day. And Mr. Modi didn't suddenly decide to
But
go and
Mohan,
take a Tejas
is
ride
it your
during this
contention
time.
that Mr. Modi, as far as I know, he did not speak a word either prior to the flight or after landing? These
doesn't need to
images,
speak a
these
word.
images,
These
without
images
him
are
having
the
to speak
message.
a single word,
These
you are saying
images are the message, Zaka.
is campaigning for a state which is far, far away.
Yes, in today's time of broadcast media, do you think that the people in Rajasthan are not watching these images? Please, let's not be naive about this.
Okay.
And like I said, they are habitual
you think that
offenders when
after
it comes to
watching these
this.
images,
They
people's vote will
violate the
change?
silent period. Please do not talk over me. I chose to listen to what you had to say. And please do not confound the Congress's stand with other parties' stand and say that the entire alliance is calling him papi or using other forms of derogatory language. I'm very happy that my colleague in Trinamool Congress has chosen to condemn the language used by his member of parliament. So
Okay.
that's as far as that is concerned. And I'll give you another thing. There was a martyred Jawan captain, M.P. Prajal, whose body was brought the same day to Bangalore that Mr. Modi was in Bangalore. The Chief Minister of Karnataka, Mr. Saralmaiya, went to receive the body along with a lot of senior leaders. We talk about Mr. Modi's pride in the army, Mr. Modi's respect for the army. What I want to know is why didn't Mr. Modi go there? Why did he choose instead to take a sortie?
Okay.
Because there were elections in Karnataka.
So,
Mr. Modi's missions are always timed and around elections. They are geared towards
respond to
only
both the points of contention by the Congress spokesperson. One, that it was timed to the day of election in Rajasthan, and therefore he was utilizing the silent period to campaign. And he says, in this day and age, you don't need to speak. Images speak louder than 1,000 words. And the second point about what the opposition seems to have taken grave offense to is that on the same day, at around the same time that the Prime Minister was flying this sortie on the Tejas, one of the murdered captains who died fighting terrorists in Jammu, his body was being brought to that same city. Why didn't the Prime Minister care to go to that captain's family and console them, and instead chose this photo op, as the opposition calls it?
I think, Zafra, the greater point is that Mr. Modi is completely within his right, and he's to showcase Tejas as an aircraft, and it is his job as a prime minister. And even if you look at from the political point of view, if in his government, under his watch, good things have happened, it is fine. What is wrong in showcasing that? I mean, the Gandhi family has taken Indian Defence Navy assets for vacation. I mean, in 1987, Rajiv Gandhi took it. Nehru ji took it in 1950. Then even when Edwina Mountbatten's ashes were strewn in the sea, Indian ship was accompanied that. So I don't see anything wrong in Mr. Modi showcasing Tejas. But there are 3 points I want to make. But before that, let me say that it's really nice of Viju Datta and his party to accept that Shantanu Sen has done something really despicable. I mean, nobody can defend it. I mean, whether it's for optics or not, for a political party to own up is commendable. But there are 3 things here. I'll quickly say this. That one, it's a grave insult, of course, to our armed forces, our pilots. if he is wishing death to people who are sacrificing their and think of their families, think of your family waiting for somebody to come back, for somebody who sacrificed, who has put his life and limbs out for the nation. That is one. Second is, it is an insult to India's, growing strength in defense manufacturing under Make in India. India used to be the biggest importer of defense equipment. Now it is among the 20 top exporters of defense equipment. So it's not just pilots or BJP workers involved there. There is a whole team of scientists. People are putting in money, crew, ground engineers. Thousands and thousands of people behind this surge in defense manufacturing. So it really insults them. And third, Zaka, I think that time and again, I wonder why the opposition, in its enthusiasm to criticize Mr. Modi, ends up hurting India by saying such things and seeds nationalistic space. These are also Bharatiya parties. Why should they seed nationalistic space by saying these things about a Tejas or about Doklam or about post-Turi surgical strikes or Balakot air strikes? What is the crime? See, I am not a politician. I do not understand really the political gain that may come out of it. To me, to my eyes, it seems
Counterproductive.
actually silly and absolutely pointless to do this.
Okay.
Because
So,
yeah.
Riju, respond to that. The one of the points that the BJP has also been making is that this is not something in isolation. Forget about the personal comments against the Prime Minister, Panati, Papi, and all of that, right? More than that, the whole idea that the opposition has always been skeptical / suspicious when it comes to matters of national security under the Modi government, whether it was the Uri strike, the surgical strikes that happened after Uri, whether it was the Balakot airstrikes that happened after Pulwama. In fact, opposition politicians have even questioned whether Pulwama was a terror attack at all, whether Pulwama was an inside job. So, repeatedly, these sort of being suspicious of national security issues just because you don't like the person who's at the helm of affairs, that is a disgrace to our armed forces, and more importantly, Riju, it's, as Abhijit said, counterproductive to the opposition itself. Why would the opposition want to cede the entire nationalist space to the BJP by seemingly repeatedly questioning the BJP on these very same national security issues?
It is BJP who's responsible for it because of their hide and seek policy. Why don't they come out and be clear with the people of this country? If I do not understand this, Modi is not India, BJP is not India. How can anybody say that Trinamool Congress or any other political party are not patriotic? We are as patriotic as anybody else in this country. We love our nation, but Modi is not India. I'm sorry to say that. And whatever he is doing is just a photo op. But please tell me this. If the opposition asks him questions, then the opposition is wrong. When Modi is the Prime Minister of the country, yesterday was the 200th day that the internet is suspended in Manipur and people are still dying, women are still getting raped. Did he go to Manipur even once? You see, you have to understand, it is about the BJP. The World Cup, Ajay ji said, Mamta Banerjee made a comment. I am saying this on record. What Mamta Banerjee said, what Mr. Rahul Gandhi said was they just resonated the emotions of the people of the country that day, that particular day. And it's not for a political party to say. It's the media people, when they asked common supporters coming out of the stadium, they said it on record, on camera. You have to understand, people are emotionally invested in this country when it comes about our nation, about the country, whether it's a cricket team, whether it's the armed forces. We want the ruling government, the Prime Minister, to be transparent about it. After the Pulwama thing happened, when our Jawans lost their life, Who used it for political mileage? Who was the beneficiary of the biggest political mileage that they got out of a horrific incident where our Jawans lost their life and one of the biggest breach in national security? Who got the gains? See, these are the questions that need to be answered.
Okay.
Modi naam jatne se kuch nahi hone wala.
Ajay Alok, what Riju is asking is, Prime Minister goes to Bangalore, to HAL factory, does the sortie on Tejas, they are calling it a photo op, but Prime Minister does not have the time to go to Manipur. It's been 200 days since Manipur is burning, but he doesn't go to Manipur. The question that they are asking is, when it is politically expedient, the BJP is happy to hop onto it, but when it is politically inconvenient, then no one really sheds a tear.
Well, they are just free to of their opinion that what Prime Minister does and what he doesn't. And they are no one to pass a judgment or to order Prime Minister to do this or do that. First of them, Riju says that people are emotionally invested. Yes, that's what you fail to understand, my dear friend. That people in this country are emotionally invested in Prime Minister Modi. The BJP cadre is a different story, Prime Minister Modi is a different story. These two add together and 1 + 1 becomes 11. That you don't understand. And you keep on abusing the Prime Minister. What double standards you are talking about right now? Right now you said that what Mamta said and what others said. I am not going to say that because people are invested. Is this a logic? Is this a logic behind calling somebody names? And that too by a chief minister. And you expect high moral standards from our side. That's great of you. Secondly, my friend from Congress said, Raja, Zaka, that elections are going on and Rajasthan has more than 1 lakh people from the armed forces. By looking at these pictures, he has tried to influence. By flying a sortie, can a Prime Minister get votes in the country? This is the news. If this is the case, why Prime Minister does so much of work? Why is he doing so much of rallies everywhere? He should have flown a sortie every day. He would have got the votes. Can you just imagine the kind of remarks I am getting? Instead of apologizing for things and just improving the level of political discourse, they are just not ready to listen there. Rather, they are more interested in finding flaws within the Prime Minister, which absolutely they cannot do. Because again, I am saying, people of this country are emotionally invested in Modi. And if you touch them, you bear the fruits. We are not going to help you. So, and these things does hurt. And Prime Minister never replies. Remember this.
Mohan Kumar Mangalam, one second. You can look back at all the various comments that have been personally directed at Mr. Modi by various Congress or other opposition leaders, from Motka Saudagar to Chaiwala to Neech Admi, all of that. Every time a personal comment has been made against Mr. Modi and an election was around the corner, it has ended up benefiting the BJP and Mr. Modi. Whether it was Gujarat in 2007, whether it was 2014 general election, I think the Neech comment was also around the 2017 election. So my point is that this is not, as Abhijit said, it is not only politically counterintuitive, but it is also unproductive for the opposition to be attacking Mr. Modi personally.
So let me just say that in this election, you won't see any of that sort of impact, no matter how hard Mr. Modi tries and his tribe tries to make that so. Second, I'm getting a little tired of the media playing into the narrative that Mr. Modi is this victim, when the language that he's been using and his party has been using for Rahul Gandhi, Mr. Nehru, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, Mrs. Indira Gandhi for the longest time has been nothing short of deplorable. Their ministers would openly call Mr. Rahul Gandhi Pappu. Mr. Modi just a few days ago in Rajasthan election said that he should hang the Congress. He has called Mrs. Gandhi a Jersey cow and Mr. Rahul Gandhi a hybrid calf. He actually went as so far as to say, to sort of allege in a very underhanded and demeaning sort of way, why the Gandhi family hasn't taken the Nehru name, when it's pretty obvious to everybody how our last names come. Now, Mr. Modi, the kind of language he uses, he is the first person to lower the discourse. He is not India by far. He has lowered the stature of his own office by being more a campaigner in chief than a prime minister. And the language he uses in these campaigns is nothing short of disgusting. So please, let's not play into Mr. Modi as you would like to do, or his patrons would like to do, as some poor little victim of the opposition. Okay. Mr. Modi holds all the power in this country. If there's anybody you should be asking questions to day in and day out, it is him and the cabinet as to what they're doing and where they're heading with this country. Hardly making this a topic and painting Mr. Modi as a victim.
No, no. Well, once again, the reason why this became a topic is because an opposition MP chose, in the most crass and I would say derogatory way, to refer to score a political point. No, once again, to score a political point by dragging in the armed forces and an indigenously developed fighter aircraft.
Let me ask you.
If Dr. Sen did not do this, then we would not have the need to debate this on prime time, right?
Zaka, why is Sadhvi Pragya still in parliament? For someone to say that the person who killed the father of our nation is a patriot, is it enough for dear Mr. Modi to come out and say, I will never forgive her?
No, no.
What is going on in this country?
Are you saying, Mohan, are you saying we've not done debates on Sadhvi Pragya?
No.
We did umpteen debates in the run-up to the Lok Sabha election.
Zaka, I am pointing to the BJP spokesperson's ask that this person should be expelled, or you saying some strong action should be taken.
Yes.
If anybody, any parliamentarian, there should be action against. First, it should be Sadhvi Pragya, and then come around to everybody.
Ajay Alok,
because nothing can be more deplorable than what she said.
Ajay Alok and then Abhijit Majumdar. Yeah. Ajay Alok.
They are asking for action taken. Now, what action should be taken against a person who just insults the Prime Minister of the country by tearing up ordinance? What action should be taken? Shouldn't he be suspended by the party? Shouldn't he be thrown out of the parliament? Because he has done a disrespect to the nation and the parliament directly. You're Rahul Gandhi. Then your tantrums goes away because he's Rahul Gandhi. He comes with a sense of propriety.
No, I didn't.
So he cannot be questioned and he cannot be answered. Now, as far as calling Rajiv Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi Pappu, please don't speak in between. As far as calling Rahul Gandhi,
please don't talk about Pappu. He starts saying Pappu
in the parliament on the floor of the house. कि मैं जानता हूँ आप लोग मुझे पप्पू बुलाते हो. He himself said that आप मुझे पप्पू बुलाते मैं जानता हूँ. So you keep on doing all these kind of mistakes, my dear friend. I don't have any problem. You keep on calling names to Prime Minister. Keep on wishing is dead. Modi teri kabr khudegi. Modi teri kabr khudegi. वो दिख रहा है कि कब्र खुदेगी. You please carry on with your work.
Calling the Gandhi family names.
No, keep on with your good job. Keep on with your good job. Let Rahul Gandhi do all these things. People of this country have answered you in the past.
One second, because if both of you are talking at the same time, we can't hear either of you. And it's not beneficial for our viewers. But so let me give Abhijit the final word. Look, I'm not saying that our political discourse should be higher, and that people should not take a pot shot at each other. That's fine. That happens in politics everywhere. But there has to be some standard where there are certain lines that are not crossed, and I don't believe that dragging in the armed forces is something that is healthy for our political discourse. So when Rahul Gandhi says "Khoon ki dalali," I don't think that's a particularly nice thing to say or to stoop down to in our political discourse. So in the same way, when Dr. Shantanu Sen says that the Tejas will soon crash, again, those are not lines you cross, no matter how bitter your political rivalry is. And I think that's where this issue and this comment seems to have touched a raw nerve amongst people. It's not so much, that the Prime Minister was attacked or that this was a personal pot shot against the Prime Minister. It is that certain red lines which we have always accepted in our public life, that seems to have been breached. That is what people have taken grave offense to. Abhijit.
Yeah. No, Jaka, Riju said that Modi and BJP reaped this thing of the Pulwama attack. It is not what that they gained from Pulwama attack, but what Modi did after the attack, which was okaying the strike, Balakot strike. That is one. And who's getting the optics wrong is evident from last 10 years election results and how the public sees parties in this. So the last thing we should understand is that there ought to be some thick red lines which cannot be crossed, and that there people should be able to, at least people who are in public life or in parties who are politicians, they should not cross that thick line between attacking a rival and actually insulting people who defend this nation without any political allegiance. That is something that we should not cross.
Okay.
That when you just think of that, whether I am hurting the nation or the people who protect this nation, by saying something, that itself is a pretty good litmus test to decide what you say and what you don't.
Okay.
And this applies to all parties.
Yeah,
not just
I agree with you.
Congress or whatever.
Yeah.
Also to BJP.
Yeah, I leave it at that. Thank you very much to all our guests. Like I said, no one is pretending to be holier than thou here. Every political party, every politician at some point of time or the other has taken a personal pot shot. The discourse has been lowered. But like I said, there has to be a floor. Below this, we cannot allow our public discourse to sink. There have to be certain red lines. And in this case, what offended people about Dr. Shantanu Sen's comment was that red line had been breached. This almost sacred sort of red line that we have, or box that we draw, that there are certain things that should not be dragged in the dirty mud of politics, that Dr. Sen's comment seemed to sort of breach in. And I think that's where people have taken grave offense to. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's a deep dive in the hostage-prisoner swap that's happening between Israel and Hamas. More than 50 Israeli and foreign nationals who were held hostage by Hamas have been released. It's a delicate peace that has prevailed for the last 3 days. There's one more day today, a fourth day. But what are the chances that this might be extended for a few more days? Israel has put an open offer of 1 extra day of peace for every 10 hostages released. Will Hamas take up that offer? That's coming up right on the other side.
Hello, Moto.